Are insurance companies scamming their own customers? According to what I have here in this article, Senate subcommittee grills insurance executives after they heard testimonies from policyholders and adjuster testifies to delays and denials following catastrophes. Can you imagine, or maybe you have had that experience to where your insurance company is giving you the runaround, or you can't get in contact with the person that you started with? You know, this is becoming normal. And this is why there was a subcommittee to grill these insurance executives. They grilled them to the point to where Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri, he called them a system of institutionalized fraud. Can you believe that? I can. Hey, I'm Conticia, and welcome to Unfiltered Insurance and Adjuster Talk. This is Beyond the Claim. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm very close. I am a newer channel. And I did say that once I get to these 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to buy me one of those little funky microphones so where my studio can really look like a studio. So we'll see. Now, I just want you to know that the reason why you want to subscribe is that we all have some type of insurance, whether it's homeowners insurance, car insurance, health insurance, even pet insurance. Even you guys have those extended warranties on your cars. That's a form of insurance as well. So to me personally, this is a $1 trillion industry, and you are a part of it. You play a big role in it. This is why it's imperative that you know what is going on in the insurance world, who is involved, and how you can fight back if you feel like it's been unjustified or not doing you properly after you're paying your premiums, you know, on a consistent basis. So subscribe to the channel. This is what you're going to get here. You're going to get the latest information about what's going on with insurance. You know, hurricane season is coming, so you definitely want to make sure you have what you need. So subscribe, even share it with a fellow insurer. You know, most everybody got some type of insurance. Okay. So this channel to me should already be about at 500,000 or even 1 million subscribers, because every one of us have some type of insurance, or we should. All right. And listen, I'm not going anywhere. So go ahead and push that subscribe button. All right. So let's get back to the episode here. Now, this got a little heated here in this article of what I read with the senators questioning these executives. According to what they were saying here, they're saying, according to the article, this isn't charity that we're talking about. He said in his opening statement or opening remarks, Americans turn to their insurance companies because they pay premiums to their insurance companies. It's a contract. And unfortunately, time after time, they find when disaster strikes in their moment of utmost need, the insurance company comes with excuses. They come back with delays, denials, and then they also come with not one adjuster, but 2 adjusters, 15, and sometimes 25 adjusters. He also said in here that the estimate always changes. At the end of the day, they won't pay what is due, what is required, and what is just. So let me pause right there. Let me tell you, when he talks about that the estimate changes quite often, it sure does, because that's why it's called an estimate. So when the first adjuster goes out, they're giving you their initial review. Then they also tell you that once you get your contractor will send in supplements of things that they may have missed. That's why it's called supplement. And so when they send that in, that estimate is going to change quite often because your contractor will always continue to send things in. I'm a desk adjuster, independent desk adjuster, and that's pretty much of what we do. We sit at that desk and we go through those supplements. Anytime your contractor say they found some new damage that was not accounted for on the initial estimate, they're going to take photos and they're going to send their estimate for that. And then they can send it another one and another one and another one. Those estimates, those supplements continue to come in up to 2 years, because that's pretty much of what you have with most insurance policies, up to 2 years. Now, I will say to you, when they talked about that you may have different adjusters, that is true too. And I'm going to tell you why it's true. Because you already have everyday claims. Those insurance companies have their staff adjusters that work everyday claims, and they already have a handful of claims. So just imagine when a catastrophe do come, a hurricane or tornado or bad hailstorm, that's extra work, extra claims. Now, normally insurance companies will hire an independent adjuster, an IA like myself, to come in and pick up those claims, which are called CAT claims because they're catastrophe. Now, normally they'll hire us to come in as a desk adjuster or even a field adjuster to come out and pick up those claims. Now, normally sometimes I will get agents on the phone. You're not one of those third-party adjusters, are you? Yes, I am, sir. And you would want me to be here because that's how your client claim is going to get viewed and paid faster. We're well trained and we know what we're doing. But for some reason, the word went out that if it's a third-party adjuster or independent adjuster, we're not doing a good job. That's not true. And sometimes to me, you would want an independent adjuster working on your case, because that means that we're not a staff adjuster. We don't work for Allstate. We don't work for State Farm or Farmers. We work up under our farm and we look at the policy and we pay what is owed regarding the policy. Now, that's a whole nother episode that I feel that, independent adjusters are being ousted out because these insurance companies do want to cut costs. And one of the costs is to get us out the way and put more work on their staff adjusters. So the delays is because they have too many claims. Now, as far as the denials, I can't say. And I'm going to say this right here. And I'm going to make this case. Because what happened when I first became an adjuster, independent adjuster, I was working for a certain company, which I've always worked for. I was able to take a look at a roof and approve a full roof replacement. At the end of my last tour with them, I would say of November of last year, I couldn't do that anymore. If I saw that the roof needs to be replaced, I had to send it to management first for approval. And the management was from my firm. So my firm would look at that thing over and over again before we sent it up to be paid, or we will get the manager of that insurance company approval. Because what they started doing is that if I went ahead and approved that full roof replacement, and if I approved it, it needs it. But if I approved it and their staff went back behind me, because I'm an independent adjuster working through a firm, and said, no, that roof should not have been replaced, they would have come back to my firm and said, we disagree with this and we want our money. So this is how hard it was getting for us adjusters to make a decision. Everything is starting to go through management now. And I'll tell you another reason why I feel like it does. It's because these contractors write these estimates. The amount is so outrageous to where it does slow down the claim process. We have to go through those supplements to make sure that what they're claiming is what it is and what they're charging is what it is. I know inflation came in, but a roof should not cost the same as a house. I'm just saying. I feel that these contractors also play a role in a lot of the denials that are coming back, because they're just automatically telling customers, oh, you're going to get a full roof replacement, or we're going to make sure you get a full roof replacement. And it may not even warrant a full roof replacement. Sometimes you do need to know your policy. Now, that's my take as an independent adjuster, adjusting thousands of claims of what I witnessed. But I do also have to witness that there are delays because they're cutting back now. They no longer hire us because they want to save money, even though they have surpluses, but they no longer want to hire us. They want to cut back. And that's what really caused the delays, because it's a lot of work when you're working these claims, and you need pretty much all hands on deck, especially when you have these catastrophes come in. But they no longer do that anymore because they are looking to cut back. Now, also in this committee, there was some testimonies from a policyholder out of Georgia. Her name was Natalie McGall, an Allstate policyholder. Said that the company gave her the runaround after a 70-foot tree fell on her home and her roof collapsed. Allstate offered her $46,000, according to this article, to repair the damage. She hired an independent inspector and engineer who found that it had suffered closer to $400,000 in damage. Now, I asked, was the house worth more than $400,000? Could possibly be. All right. But that's what, this is what her independent inspector and engineer found, that it's pretty much $400,000 of damage. Now, it was disagreed with that payout and was told that Allstate revised their initial estimate, which was around $200,000. They didn't get her to the $400,000, but they did get to the $200,000. And that's why I'm saying that, it does come into play to where it is supplements. People have to come behind you because at the end of the day, you're dealing with humans. And so you will have different people come in behind, and that's why you have the insurance commissioners. This is why you have your senators to fight for you, so you can make a claim and say, hey, something is out of order here. I mean, like I'm saying, it's gotten so bad to where when you have a senator calling these insurance companies a system of institutional fraud, we must know that the system is broken. Okay. Now, also listen to this. There was another one that pretty much said that he fought with State Farm to repair his home. Right now, he said that they are living in a rental place. He said this happened in North Carolina home had multiple trees fall on it during Hurricane Helene last October. State Farm deemed the home habitable and denied living expense claims, despite the county declaring the home unsafe to enter, he said. See, what he's talking about is additional living expenses. And that's when they put you up in another comparable home to stay in while your property is being repaired. Now, to me, that is something you can fight, because if the county declared it, that's a whole nother issue. And there's something that's called law and ordinance that's on your policy. I'm not quite sure if it applies to this, but when your county declares your home unsafe to enter, that's where you definitely have to fight with them about that. He also said that they were living in a rental unit while their property is being repaired with and paying for it. So pretty much they're paying their mortgage and also the rent. That's unacceptable. This is why you have additional living expenses. And you have to, let me tell you something. I would prefer to have insurance and have someone to fight with about giving me my money that's owed to me than not having any insurance at all. At least I got somebody to fight with. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer to fight than not have a case and not have any coverage at all. All right. Now, another thing I want to address, because there's a watchdog committee. This watchdog committee here pretty much was saying that Doug Quinn, he's the executive director of the American Policy and Association for Policyholders. He's the insurance watchdog group. He called on the state legislators or regulators. He felt like this is an industry that cannot be ignored anymore. He also said it's time for federal enforcement to enforce persecution. It's time for these criminal organizations to be brought to justice. He is calling these insurance companies criminal organizations, and he said they need to be brought to justice. But sometimes I do ask, is that even possible? Who are they going to charge? Do you remember that case of Rick Scott in Florida, where he was tied up in that massive Medicare fraud? Was he ever held accountable for that? Nope. I believe he even was running for president the last election, or running for governor of Florida. He came right back into the scene and was never held accountable for that Medicare fraud. United Healthcare right now is having the same issue. Medicare fraud. Who will they prosecute? Who's going to be held accountable? I don't see how it will happen. Who they're going to hold accountable if it's proven that it's fraud and they're just taking policyholders' money. Because I'm going to tell you something, this is a big business. They have trillions of dollars. When I tell you State Farm, hey, they have a sister company that talked about the surplus in that sister company. Because, you know, State Farm recently asked the state of California to allow them to increase the premium on State Farm customers in California. They denied them, but I'm going to tell you what happened in the next episode, because they got what they wanted. But I'll break it down for you in the next episode. But I'm just going to ask you about this episode right here. What are your thoughts? Do you think insurance company, is it robbery for them? Do you think they're taking, what about your own experience with these insurance companies? And matter of fact, right now I have a claim. I've adjusted thousands of policies, thousands of claims, right? And I've never found one, but this is my first one. I was recently on assignment, out of state, gone. I look at my water bill. My water bill usually run about $70 a month. This was $350. The next one was $6. And I'm like, excuse me? I have a water leak, which it has leaked, and it messed up my cabinets, what have you. And Allstate is my insurance company. So this is my first claim. I am going to document. I'm going to let you know what happens with this claim. So it has gotten started. I must say to you, the initial process with them has been smooth. I filed that claim, I'll say within 10 minutes. The adjuster called me, the field adjuster. She came out the next day. I'll say about 30 minutes later, the desk adjuster called me. Gave me their numbers, how to upload my photos, what I need to do. They went over my policy with me, let me know what my deductible is. I'm going to say now, this first step is smooth, but I'm going to keep you posted, because I have cabinet damage, I have flooring, and they also had to go down underneath my house through the concrete to get to that pipe. Yep. So this is my first claim, and I'm going to keep you abreast on what goes on with it. But let me know how your claim has been, what your experience with filing an insurance claim has been. We need to talk about this, because, I'll tell you another thing. If we talk about this, at least we'll know who to insure with and who not to insure with. At least we will give ourselves some more information of do we really want to do business with that company? Do I feel like I want to start fighting with an insurance company? Sometimes you may have to, but I'm going to tell you something. I'll prefer to fight with someone than to not have anyone to fight with. And I'm sitting here with over a $6,000 repair bill for a pipe that they had to dig through the concrete in my kitchen, take up tile, destroy the floor in there. And just the initial cost to repair the pipe and to get there is over $6,000. And I'm not talking about the flooring repair or the cabinet repair. Think about that. I'd rather fight with someone than not have anyone to fight with about my money or about repairing my home. But just let me know what your thoughts are. There was even a statement in this article Keating said State Farm received 129,600 claims from Hurricane Milton and Helene last year and has paid out $1.28 billion so far. Less than 1% of those claims have received one or more policyholder complaints, he said. Fiato said he regret that Miguel was unhappy with how her claim was handled, but disputed that the testimony surrounding the case. He said much of the damage to the home was cosmetic, not structural. And see, that's another thing. Sometimes what happens is that when you do have damage to homes, your contractor do want to make cosmetic damage repairs, but you do have to have structural damage. All right. Now, I'm not quite sure. I didn't see this claim or however, but he said it was more cosmetic, not structural, which accounted for the discrepancy in the repairs estimate, according to this State Farm person. Now, also for Allstate, according to their representative, they stated that they have a robust eternal oversight protocol and a separate quality control department. He pointed out that the insurers are also subject to state regulations, which they are. They have Department of Insurance. And I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I did let policyholders know, listen, if you're having a problem or you can't get your person on the phone for weeks or months at a time, call the Department of Insurance, file a complaint, you'll hear from them. Trust and believe me. Now, he also said that they have 51 regulators oversee and regulate everything from pricing and underwriting to policies and claims, where we are routinely subject to market conduct exams, including following large catastrophes, he said. But Senator Hawley came back and questioned whether Allstate's commitment is to its policyholder or its profits. The company made $4.6 billion in profits in 2024, and its CEO, Tom Wilson, made $26 million in executive compensation. Now, is that $4.6 billion profit is after they paid out for those hurricanes in 2024? If that is the case, they should have no problem with paying claims. This is why I tell you all, the insurance industry is a big business. It is big business, and you are all up in it. You're the one who make or break these insurance companies. That's why it's imperative for you to know who you're going to give your money to and who is going to give you what you pay for, who is going to give you what your policy owes you. So this is why you want to stay abreast on what's going on with this insurance world, and also understand how claim process work. So what he was doing is saying, hey, you all made a $4.6 billion in profit in 2024, and your CEO takes home $26 million of an executive compensation. Come on. I do say the insurance companies do have to do better. I do know that there's things that are going on. Sometimes I want to say more, but hey, in the future, I may have to go work for these people if they'll hire me back in the future, if they decide to bring back independent adjusters. But I am telling you, as a policyholder, as a consumer, you want to have someone to fight with. I prefer to fight with someone than not to have anyone to come into my home and make the repairs that are necessary. All right. So just think about that. They are making money and you are a part of it. Do you think there needs to be more oversight on these insurance companies, this $1 trillion business? Place it in the comments. I really want to hear from you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to Unfiltered Insurance and Adjuster Talk. I'll see you on the next episode.